Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something absolutely massive. We're talking about a high-stakes, multi-billion-dollar partnership that is, quite literally, going to reshape global defense as we know it. I'm super pumped to unpack this with you, because we are standing right on the absolute frontier of military aviation, the race for the sixth-generation fighter jet. For the longest time, the global skies have really been dominated by just a handful of players. But, well, there's a seismic shift happening right now. India is officially stepping into the sixth-gen race, and they're doing it by linking arms with France. And listen, this is not your standard buyer-seller agreement. No way. This is a mammoth co-development megadeal designed to create the ultimate boss of the skies. So, how exactly did we get here? To figure out why Europe's absolute most ambitious, most expensive defense project is suddenly pivoting away from its own continent and looking all the way to India, we kind of have to drop right into the middle of a massive geopolitical breakup. The project we're talking about is FCS, the Future Combat Air System. Now, this was supposed to be Europe's ultimate pride and joy, right? A sixth-gen fighter jet set to rule the skies by 2040, originally launched by France, Germany, and Spain. It sounded like a total dream alliance. But recently, that dream completely shattered, and that fallout sparked a desperate, high-stakes search for a brand new partner. So what actually went wrong? Well, the collapse of that European alliance really boils down to one irreconcilable dispute: who gets to control the tech? It was honestly like a messy corporate divorce. On one side, you had France, specifically Dassault Aviation. They basically said, we are absolutely not sharing our core architecture, and demanded primary leadership and total control over the project. On the flip side, you had Germany, represented by Airbus, who dug their heels in and demanded a completely equal share in the technology development. France refused to budge, so Germany effectively threw their hands up and said, all right, we're out. And because the whole core architecture was built entirely around this Franco-German partnership, when Germany walked, Spain was basically forced out of the program by default.
But, this split wasn't just about corporate control or egos. There was actually a massive, fundamental friction point when it came to actual military needs. France absolutely requires a jet that can be part of their nuclear triad. They need a fighter that can penetrate deep into enemy territory, completely solo, and drop a nuclear payload. Germany? They flat out rejected that. They only wanted conventional attack features. So this core mismatch in strategic philosophy basically meant they were trying to build two entirely different aircraft under one single project. It was just never going to work.
And that breakup leads us directly to this absolutely staggering number. When Germany walked away, they took their giant checkbook with them, leaving behind a massive financial void. We are talking about a total estimated budget for the FCAS project of over 100 billion euros. To put that into perspective, that's roughly 10.9 lakh crore rupees. I mean, that is an unbelievable amount of money, and France simply cannot shoulder that monumental cost all alone. They desperately and urgently needed a new partner, but not just anyone. They needed someone technically capable, incredibly well-funded, and most importantly, strategically aligned with their specific, nuclear-capable military needs. Enter India. So why is India the absolute perfect replacement here? Well, first off, India already possesses its own independent strategic power and a nuclear triad strategy. Just like France, India actively needs a jet capable of delivering a nuclear payload deep into enemy airspace. It is literally a perfect strategic match. On top of that, India's defense ministry is bringing some serious financial backing to the table. But, and here is the real kicker, India is not just looking to write a massive check and sit back as a passive buyer. Oh no, they are stepping in with a firm, non-negotiable demand for equal technology development. They want to be co-creators from day one. Now, to really grasp why co-creating this is such a game changer, we need to completely de-jargonize what we're actually building here. When you hear sixth-generation fighter jet, you honestly need to stop thinking about a traditional airplane. The Rafales flying right now, those are 4.5 generation. The American F-35, fifth generation. But the sixth gen, it's basically a flying supercomputer. We are moving way beyond just sleek aerodynamics and entering an era where the jet is a highly advanced, autonomous computing platform operating in the sky. Let's actually break down the 4 key pillars of this mind-blowing tech.
Okay, pillar number 1, the compact cloud. This is where artificial intelligence hits its absolute peak. A 6th-gen jet doesn't just rely on its own internal sensors anymore. Instead, it acts as this massive central intelligence node. It's using AI to instantly process and share just insane volumes of real-time battlefield data with surrounding satellites in space, naval ships in the ocean, and tanks on the ground. It gives the pilot a literal god's eye view of the entire battlespace, perfectly synchronized right up to the millisecond. Moving on to Pillar 2, and this is where the offensive capabilities get really wild. It's called the Loyal Wingman. This jet, it will never fly alone. The main pilot is directly connected to a swarm of, say, 5 to 10 compact drones. Picture this. The human pilot hangs way back in total safety while they send this automated drone swarm forward into the danger zone. If enemy missiles approach, these drones can actively take the hit to protect the main jet, or they can aggressively push forward to drop explosive payloads themselves. It is automated, distributed warfare, all controlled by a single human mind. Pillar 3 honestly sounds like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking about directed energy weapons. Yes, specifically laser weapons. Instead of relying solely on your standard interceptor missiles, which, can run out or be dodged by the enemy, these 6th-generation jets are being designed to literally shoot continuous laser beams. They can just burn and destroy incoming enemy missiles midair before they even get close. No ammo limits, just pure energy. And finally, Pillar 4. Ultra stealth. Now, current 5th-generation jets evade standard X-band radars mostly through their physical shape and some special paints. But 6th generation takes invisibility to a completely different level using multispectral technology. What this means is the jet isn't just hiding from radar, it is specifically designed to become invisible to infrared heat sensors, electromagnetic waves, and even advanced visual camera tracking. We are talking about true multi-layered invisibility. It's wild. So at this point, you might be wondering, okay, but how does this mega deal impact India back at home? Like, what actually happens to India's own domestic 5th-gen fighter program, the MCA, which just got a massive 15,000 crore rupee budget approval? Well, the answer is something called the spillover effect. Participating in this French FCAS project is absolutely not going to derail India's indigenous project. Actually, scratch that, it's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to heavily accelerate and technologically enhance it. Let me break down exactly how that works. All right, here is that spillover effect in action. For the AMCA to really succeed, it desperately needed a powerful, reliable engine. By partnering with France, India gets direct access to the incredible 121 kilonewton engine technology from the French company Safran that solves a massive hardware bottleneck instantly. Plus, because India will have full access to the FCS's compact cloud tech, they can literally link their domestic jets right into that same advanced network. The end result? India's baseline 5th-generation AMCA essentially gets a direct, immediate upgrade into a formidable 5.5-generation fighter. They are leapfrogging years of difficult development. So why is this massive leap so incredibly urgent for India right now? Well, currently, India has absolutely zero operational 5th-generation jets in its fleet. None. Meanwhile, just across the border, the Chinese Air Force is already operating over 500 of their 5th-generation J-20 fighter jets. I mean, that is a staggering technological and numerical imbalance in the region right now. But honestly, it actually gets a lot more concerning when we start looking at tomorrow. Because China, they're not waiting around for anybody. They're already aggressively pushing what's known as a dual-track strategy for 6th-generation dominance. They aren't just drawing blueprints in a lab. They're actually flying and testing 6th-gen prototypes in the sky as we speak. And they're developing not one, but 2 distinct models simultaneously. You've got the Shenyang J-15 and, incredibly, the Chengdu J-36. That J-36 is particularly advanced. We're talking a tailless diamond wing design reportedly equipped with 3 engines. The speed and scale of their military advancement is just relentless. And this right here is exactly why the India-France partnership is stepping on the gas. But it's super important to realize that this FCAS alliance is not just starting from scratch. It's really the pinnacle of a massive pre-existing defense foundation between New Delhi and Paris. I mean, they're already planning the purchase of 114 extra Rafale jets for 3.25 lakh crore rupees, with the vast majority manufactured right in India under the Make in India initiative. Plus, like we just talked about, they are already co-developing that beast of a Safran engine. So the 6th-gen deal, it simply stacks perfectly onto this incredibly strong, already existing foundation. So all of this builds into a literal high-stakes race for the future.
China is aggressively targeting the year 2035 to deploy the world's very first operational sixth-generation fighter jet into their military. India and France, through this FCAS project, have set their target launch date for 2040, so you can see the math there. There is a ticking clock and a critical 5-year gap that the India-France alliance is racing against. If they don't move with absolute lightning-fast urgency right now, the entire balance of power in Asia could heavily tip in the coming decade.
Which brings us to our final and honestly perhaps most provocative question. If this €100 billion mega deal actually succeeds, and India successfully transitions from just being a buyer to becoming the literal co-creator of the most powerful weapon system on the planet by 2040, who will truly control the future balance of power in Asia? It is an absolutely fascinating shift in global dynamics, totally driven by necessity, cutting-edge technology, and strategic vision. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring the incredible innovations that are shaping our world, and I will catch you in the next one.